Oh dear.
I don't give a fuck about slavery, okay? We're the only group that still hangs onto it. I'm pretty sure everyone was a slave in the past. And guess what, guys? Our own kind made our own kind slaves to each other, okay? We were slaves to black people as well, okay? It's not just the whites. I do not want to hear about oppression. I don't want to hear about systematic racism. I don't care.
It is very sad to see that this young black man has sold his soul in the way that he has chosen to present himself here. But it brings forth a very important lesson and a discussion to be had. And let's look at the argument that black people have sold black people. Now, the system of chattel, transatlantic, Eurocentric slavery in terms of the African is a very unique form of slavery where the human being is seen as property and being void of humanity completely and therefore not deserving of humanity in any way, shape or form. And we're treated as items on a ledger for insurance purposes and seen as property to be thrown overboard. And this is just approaching one dimension of it in terms of the physical aspects of being chattel slavery. But then we're not even looking at the psychological destruction of the African, the destruction of the African mind. That is the project which is unrivaled in its destruction of African civilization. So this young man is lost and is completely uneducated. Black people could have sold black people within the Eurocentric structure of slavery, of chattel slavery. Okay, black white supremacists exist now in today's time. Why would it have been so different then in terms of their own survival and aligning themselves with the power structure in order to survive and to prosper? Immorally, those people exist now, so they exist then. I'm not concerned with those individuals. That doesn't legitimize that. The fact that there were black bodies that were complicit in that process under a Eurocentric hegemonic structure of African destruction. Who is the architect of the different modes of slavery that existed? What is the origin of that mode of slavery? And if we're going to look at African modes of servitude or of slavery, it doesn't exist at all in terms of chattel slavery. Doesn't exist. I've looked. African democracy involved the ownership of persons, but that can be misconstrued as slavery. The African democratic processes of ownership. That is that the community owns the community. And this could be misconstrued, okay, in Eurocentric terms as a slave process. But it was not. It was African. It was an African